Round, it is. Television in the
round.
round.
My goodness,
yes.
it's wonderful.
Yeah. Take your glasses off and look at the camera for a sec.
They're sewed on.
No, just the look between you and when look at, doesn't he look like what you were taught as a child? Mike, it's incredible.
It was a skin graft at a very early age. I was born with this, actually.
You said
no hair, just this.
Just that. You said you couldn't count the number of times you've done this part, huh?
I
Over
have
20
no
years.
idea. I have done almost 1,500 just on this tour. I have no idea beyond that, though.
Drummer, rock and roll drummer from Texas ends up playing the role of Jesus Christ and said to me in the green room that if you had, I said the ultimate irony would be if you were an atheist playing the role, but you said if you were, that you would no longer be after doing this?
There's no way, I believe, to do what I do on a regular basis and not feel that there is a spirit watching over all of us somewhere. There are people all over North America who constantly tell me that as a result of this wonderful film I was able to be a part of, they became Christians because of the
Really?
visions.
People converted and had visions over this film?
Yes. And I think it's because, well, I know it's because your favorite son here, native son Norman Jewison, had such a magnificent vision of how to put a face to Jesus. And it hadn't been done before this particular film, you see. Always it was shot from someone else's point of view over the shoulder, and the image was there, and we dealt with it for the very first time on a personal level. And this particular piece looks at the last 7 days in Jesus' life through the eyes of his friends. So you see the human side of the man we know as Jesus.
It's interesting in your voice, I hear sometimes just a little bit of that Texas accent.
I don't know why.
When you're on stage doing this role, is it something you have to be aware of not to?
Oh, no, not at all.
No?
I don't know, something about the process of singing.
There's no accent when you sing, actually.
None whatsoever. I don't
I
know why.
Yeah,
I really
nobody
don't.
knows why. If you're English or whatever accent you have, it disappears when you sing.
I wish we could tap into that somehow. Maybe we could communicate with the whole world a little bit better. But if I spend just a few minutes with my family, I sound like...
Yeah, right back into it, just like you're from Texas.
You're very good at that.
I know, but I have a problem.
She's from Texas, actually.
Yes, I am. You know, a little Texas flower here. No, actually, I'm from southern England. But I find when I interview people, if they have an accent, and I don't know why I do it. I just go into sync and I'll start talking just like they start talking. You know?
That's good.
How do you all prepare for a role like playing Jesus? Do you read the Bible? I mean, how do you study his? What do you do?
Well, see, I do this every single day.
Don't you get sick and tired of doing the same thing every day?
Not this.
Isn't that amazing? That's amazing to me.
It is. Anybody that I know who does what I do, actors, singers, dancers, whatever, constantly say, how can you possibly keep this fresh?
Yeah.
It keeps me fresh. The audiences who come to see this show are remarkable people. They come and they bring such joy and support and happiness to what I get to experience every night. They literally canonize me every single night in this show.
Truly.
Yes.
Isn't that extraordinary? Because you know the lines so well and have done them so often, does it make it easier to sometimes, you've done it so often it all just like leaves and you go blank. Ever blank out?
Only once.
Only once?
Yes, and I will never do it again. Because imagine, if you will, what experience we have for our 2-hour period in each show, and everybody knows the person I'm playing. There are no surprises, folks. I mean, we don't have any surprise endings or anything.
Yeah.
And everybody...
Yeah, we all know the story.
Everybody's a critic, you see. And if someone else in the show misses a line, that's okay. But I can't miss a line.
You can't miss a line.
No.
Of course, being who you are, I guess you could just make up any old line you wanted, huh? I mean, who's going to argue with you, you know? Hey, it's my play. I'll do it my way.
And there is magic in the majesty of the robes. I'm telling you that. You know, when you see that image, magic happens up there.
But I think, you know, I understand, or I think I perceive a little of what you're saying. If you appear on the stage as someone, Jesus, that everyone looks at with such love and admiration and idolizes, you must get that kind of feeling, that kind of energy. It obviously must
Constantly.
be... Yeah.
It happened, it happened when I walked in the green room here.
They all threw themselves in their knees in the green room?
Everybody...
They're taught to do that when I come in, but they're not doing it yet. You know, I've been asking for years.
See, she beat me to my punchline.
Oh.
I thought it was for me. They said, Deanie told us to do that. They all fell down and went, we're not worthy.
We are not. Yeah, that's my staff.
That's your group.
Yeah, it's like, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You met your wife on the set?
Oh, yes. Thank you for... Thank you. Yes.
Love at first. Imagine falling in love with a man who's playing Jesus. An interesting concept.
Yes.
Were you in robes? Were you...
Yes.
How interesting.
She is the product of this fair city. She grew up in
Good
Toronto.
old Toronto girl.
She was born in...
There you are.
That's why some of we Americans are okay.
There's many of you Americans that are okay.
We meet people from Canada and we learn how to be good people.
Do you think we're different Americans and Canadians, or you perceive us very much the same? What is your perception of us?
I perceive us as all the same.
Yeah, we all have some loonies, because we got a few good ones in this country.
Yes, but I find for the most part that Canadians are much more gentle, much more kind, much more like where I came from. I come from a very tiny town in Texas, very tiny rural community.
Called?
Ranger.
Ranger, okay.
Everybody knows everyone, you know, and that's the kind of life I live. And in Canada, I get that feeling no matter where we go. But you mentioned my wife, and I thank you for that. She grew up in the National Ballet of Canada. She's a magnificent ballet dancer, too.
Ah.
So.
Yeah, we're very proud of the National Ballet. It produces a lot of beautiful, beautiful people.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
You can see Mr. Ted Neeley starring in the musical Jesus Christ Superstar at the Music Hall Theatre in Toronto. Performances run from Friday, September the 27th until the 29th. Be there or look out, okay? It's just, that's from Ted. We're going to take a break. We're back right after this.
Next on Deanie, the latest Hollywood gossip from the Hollywood Reporter's George Christie.